Jesus' overall point here is that there's so many ways and times we are mistreated. Or even more generally, there's so many ways and times, church, that we could rightly insist on what's fair and just and what we deserve. Meaning there's a ton of ways that we encounter these situations every week and sometimes every day. But the application is in those mistreatments. What Jesus is calling us to is to have a disposition that is radically focused on mercy rather than on mere justice. We're to have an attitude of even giving up, getting what we think is fair or just or what we deserve, all for the sake of others, for the sake of love. That's clearly Jesus' point. And again, this really is so difficult. Which again is why this is so radical. But overall, this means, just to make it crystal clear, it means that maybe what we should each do in our heads right now is we should think about situations and times where we feel this sense of injustice or it's not fair or what I deserve. And I encourage you right now, think about the many ways you feel that. Think about situations or you might feel that about, or people you might feel that about, or things going on in our culture you might feel that about. And then the application we must make is to take those things and those times and think, you know what? My response to people treating me or even people treating God like that is not mainly or merely to be just all about justice. Instead, even more so, Jesus says my response in my actions and in my heart is to be mercy. And why? Well, because Jesus is calling us to this, church, but even bigger, think about it. Brothers and sisters, the reason why we do this is because being merciful like that really is being like our God. Being like our God. Because think about it, if the living God only mainly held to justice and what people deserve, mere justice, which all of us in this room all the time just feel is so good and right and fair. If that was mainly the living God, then guess what? Then none of us would be here right now. The gospel would never have happened and we would not know Jesus. And so instead, we should all realize that the ultimate storyline of the universe is about God himself being genuinely treated unfairly. About him facing such injustice, about him being mistreated and wronged by those he made and loves. And yet he decides to come. He chooses to suffer what he never deserved. He dies for us. He treats us mercifully. That's beautiful. And that is ultimate reality. And therefore, for us, Jesus' point is by his Spirit, we are to do the same when we're wronged. Just like our God of mercy.